Okay friends, one of the first things we have to do to get started on our job is to safely raise and support the rear of the car so the wheels are off the ground. After that, remove all 5 of your lug nuts and then the wheel. Let's put some support underneath this control arm. Now that the wheel's off, we have a nice clear view of this area right here. Let's go ahead and remove this bolt. Be careful as you remove this. This could be under some pressure and it might potentially come out towards you. Now we're going to remove the through bolt that comes through the knuckle, through the shock, and then through the other side of the knuckle. We'll set this aside. Next, we're going to separate the shock from the knuckle. With this taken apart, just pay attention to the height that this control arm is sitting at. As you can tell, it's not necessarily sitting all the way down, so when we go ahead and put in the brand new one, we want to make sure that we have it at the approximate same level as this one right here. The next thing we're going to pay attention to is the inner bolt located right around here. Now to remove this, we're of course just going to start it with a ratchet and then I'll have to get the rest out with a wrench. We're just going to take that rear shock and we're going to pull it right up like this. You might possibly need to go ahead and compress it first, but be careful when it decompresses. You don't want to damage your axle boot or of course your flex hose. Essentially, we just want to have enough room to be able to get our ratchet in here and remove this bolt. Let's go ahead and loosen this up. Okay, let's get that bolt out of there. Okay, now it's time to get our rear upper control arm in here. We're going to carefully take this, we'll slide it right into where the bracket is on the subframe in the rear. We also have our bolt. Ensure that the threads are nice and clean, and of course put a little bit of red thread locker on there. We'll go ahead and slide this in behind that rear shock, start it in, we'll snug it up, and then we'll torque it to manufacturer's specification. Alright, now before we go ahead and snug this up, we want to of course make sure that this upper control arm is in the same position as when we originally removed it. Once it's snug, torque it to 81 foot-pounds. The next thing we're going to do is start lining up the upper control arm with the knuckle. You might notice as you're trying to push to line it up, it's a little difficult. If you wanted to and you had access to one, you could use a ratchet strap, carefully put it along here, being very careful not to damage anything along the way, and just gently ratchet it in until it lines up with where it needs to be. Let's torque this to 81 foot-pounds as well. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and get your jack out from underneath the control arm. We don't need that there anymore. Let's continue on by putting our shock into the lower knuckle area here. Once you have that lined up, go ahead and put in your mounting bolt. Let's do that from the front towards the rear. Now we're going to put on our rubber vibration absorber here. Put on the nut. Now we can snug this up. Let's snug it up. Now we'll torque this to 85 foot-pounds. Just double check everything that you assembled, make sure everything's perfect. Then of course we'll get our wheel on here, start all of our lug nuts, get it on the ground, we'll snug it up and torque it to 100 foot-pounds. Torqued. Okay friends, so we got our upper control arm in there. What's left to do now? Safely take it for a road test down to your local alignment shop.